mid-April.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things we can plant outside. Everyone gets very concerned that it's snowing or getting cold, but they are frost hardy, meaning they can handle the cold and they can handle the snow. Everyone gets very concerned that snow's coming. What do I do? The snow's coming. We go, oh good, because that's moisture, so that's a good thing. So when you get ready to do your vegetable garden, the first thing you have to do is find a location that's got a lot of sun. We need a full day sun. That's the big thing. The next one, and keep in mind we're in a high plains desert and we don't have very good soil. So it's an inch of peat moss, an inch of compost, and an inch of manure that we're going to put down over that whole garden. And we got to rototill that in about 18 inches deep.
What zone are we in?
We're officially 5, right across the street is 4. Officially, if you look at the USDA map, yes. And then you can get into 3 here really fast up in Morrison. It changes that fast because we're right on the cusp of everything.
When you say just across the way,
Literally across 470, because they use that as a line to be zone 4 versus us zone 5.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we all do have the frost hardy vegetables. So pick a really sunny location for your garden, and then we have to amend the soil. We've got to rototill at least 18 inches down or spade it in 18 inches down, and we need that organic matter in the soil. Otherwise the roots can't penetrate down. If we only prepare a couple inches, that's only the deeper the roots get. Therefore the plant's going to wilt and have a very small root system, and you have a very small plant, which therefore you have a very small yield.
And you have all this soil.
We have it
here.
all. And then we have the compost, we have a sample there, we have a compo of the manures, and then we got all the peat mosses. So you've got to add that
and
organic
you put all
matter.
3 of that in there, a layer of all 3 of those, and then work it down
18 inches down. But
Okay.
you've got to do soil prep. That's the key to your vegetable garden. If you want to get a good crop, as long as you get that soil prep going, and as long as you've got a lot of sun, we can do this. It's super easy. So the things you would never start indoors is all your root crops. So carrots and your beets, anything that's a root crop, all the different onions, these are all root crops that can go in the ground, directly in the ground. And what a lot of people do is just do a quarter of a row, wait 2 weeks, do a quarter of a row, wait 2 weeks, do a quarter of a row. That way I've got to harvest much longer. Now all your leafy vegetables, all of these are frost hardy, and they can go in now. And there again, I would just do a quarter of a row because I want a fresh salad all spring. These plants do not like it in July when it's really hot out. They're going to bolt and they're going to get bitter and they're not going to taste good. But all your lettuces, spinaches, all the different lettuces, the arugula, the leafy lettuces, all of those can go in now. But when it gets really hot, you're going to pull those out. And then you can have a row of cucumbers, a warm season crop that will grow into that space, and I can use that space twice. So if I have a 10 by 10 garden, I literally can have 2 gardens just in one season.
So I did a trick last year. I made my cucumbers have a little teepee.
Perfect.
And they did that, and I kept my lettuce underneath there, and I had my lettuce longer.
And you use your space because you're vertical gardening. So that's a good idea. We can do that. We do have a lot of the plants, some of the slower growing, cool weather crops, cabbage, cauliflower, and broccoli, and these are hardened off and they can go out. Now if it snows tonight, they're fine. If it gets cold tonight, they're fine. They're hardened off and they're a cool season crop. They don't like it when it gets really hot, but we do have all the starts also, depending on what you're going to plant. And then a lot of people don't understand the difference between perennials and then the annuals. So all your lettuces are your annuals that we plant every single year. We plant them annually. That's where that word comes, annual. And then of course there's a lot of ones that are perennial that come up year after year that need to be in their own garden space. So your asparagus needs to be in its own little area because it spreads. Your rhubarb gets quite large. So we need to give him a lot of room, but he stays in his own little area where we're not rototilling and spading every season. Because you got your perennials and they've got your annuals there too. Now of course your garlic, they come in big cloves. You just break them apart and then you get the little cloves, and that's what you plant. And then you plant a row of your garlic, and that's a natural insecticide too. Another thing is to put beans in. There's a warm season crop, but you can put a row of marigolds to keep the bean bugs away.
Do that.
And then of course the garlic will keep all of it. Now your potatoes, we're not really potato country, but we can grow the potatoes. So they go about 6 inches down and they get big. They're as big as a tomato. I mean, they're humongous. But you layer them. So he puts up a sprout and then you put more soil over him. And then he puts up another sprout and you put more soil. That way I get layers of potatoes. Then I get a bigger crop. If you don't do that, you only get the one crop.
So now taken this, and if there was other eyes, I would cut it.
You
Is
can.
that okay? So I
Yeah,
make
now
sure
this
I
one
did
I
that
wouldn't
right.
cut that one.
Uh-huh.
Probably wouldn't cut that one.
No.
Because it doesn't have enough.
Okay.
Some of the bigger ones you can cut, let them sit out overnight,
Uh-huh.
and then you got the 2 potatoes to plant.
Okay. So you plant them, and then when it starts coming out, then you put more
You
soil
mound it.
over
So you
it.
kind of dig a ditch for it to plant in at 1st,
Uh-huh.
and then you keep mounding it as it grows.
And you can get more crop.
You get layers of potatoes. So when you go in there and dig, when you dig them up, you've got 3 or 4 layers of potatoes in there. We're not super potato country. They're not going to be humongous. We're not Idaho, but we'll get some nice sized potatoes.
And you can cover the green.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then they'll
We're
resprout.
doing that this year.
So, and we've got an awful lot. And your peas, your snow peas, we can do by seed or the plants, but they're frost hardy. And then, of course, all your Swiss chards. I mean, those are frost hardy.
Looks delicious.
And, of course, all your parsley. And they love the snow. So this is a good thing. So you really need to have several planting times. People always ask, when's it safe to plant? Well, we have to know what kind of plant you're planting before we can answer that question.
So we don't have to wait until Mother's Day.
No, we don't. And it keeps it funner too, because I'm working on it all spring long. I'm not trying to do the whole thing in one day.
Great.
Yeah, and I keep it fun and interesting. Yes.
You do?
Yes.
All right.
See, we got broccoli.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
We got carrots.
Carrots. No.
But all your root crops can go in now. So
Okay.
don't worry about that stuff, and don't worry about the bad weather.
I'm good
And don't
with
listen to
carrots.
the news people on the television machine.
All
Because they
right.
don't know what they're talking about.
Oh, that's why you go to the expert.